The internet is the wider network that allows computer networks around the world run by companies, governments, universities, and other organizations to talk to one another. The result is a mass of cables, computers, data centers, routers, servers, repeaters, satellites, and Wi-Fi towers that allows digital information to travel around the world. Hundreds of thousands of miles of cables crisscross countries and more are laid along sea floors to connect islands and continents. About 300 submarine cables, the deep-sea variant only as thick as a garden hose, underpin the modern internet. Most are bundles of hair-thin fiber optics that carry data at the speed of light. In 1995, fewer than 1% of the world's population was online. Fast forward 20 years and today more than 4 billion people have an internet connection, more than half of all humans on the planet, and the number is growing at a rate of around 25 people a second. Internet could be taken away, on a global or national scale, for a stretch of time. Cyberattacks are one possibility. Malicious hackers could bring the internet to a standstill by releasing software that aggressively targeted vulnerabilities in routers, the devices that forward internet traffic. Shutting down domain name servers, the internet's address books, would also cause massive disruption, preventing websites from loading, for example. Cutting the deep-sea cables that carry vast volumes of internet traffic between continents would also cause significant disruptions by disconnecting one part of the world from another. These cables may not be easy targets for attackers, but they are sometimes damaged accidentally. In 2008, damage to two marine cables near the Egyptian port of Alexandria affected tens of millions of internet users in Africa, India, Pakistan, and the Middle East. Some governments also have kill switches that can effectively turn off the internet in their country. Egypt did this during the Arab Spring uprising in 2011 to make it more difficult for protesters to coordinate their activity. Turkey and Iran have also shut off internet connectivity during protests. China is rumored to have a kill switch of its own. And American senators have proposed creating one in the US as a means to defend the country from cyberattack. Building a kill switch is not easy, however. The larger and more developed the country, the harder it is to shut down the internet completely. There are simply too many connections between networks both inside and outside national borders. With internet blackouts lasting for 4,196 hours in 2019, India has lost over $1.3 billion in economic terms. This places the country in the third spot among the world's most affected countries economically after Iraq and Sudan. With 18.8 internet million users, Iraq was the most hit due to 263 hours of blackouts costing around $2.3 billion. The most significant internet blackouts were in October amid anti-government protests due to rising unemployment, failing public services, and corruption. Sudan was on the second spot, which lost $1.87 billion due to 1,560 hours of internet shutdowns in 2019. Altogether, the total cost of internet shutdowns across the world, according to the report, jumped substantially by 235% since 2015-16 from $2.4 billion to $8.05 billion in 2019. Travel probably would not be affected too much in the short term either, so long as the blackout lasted no more than a day or so. Planes can fly without the internet, and trains and buses would continue to run. Longer outages would start to have an effect on logistics, however. Without the internet, it would be hard for businesses to operate. People will experience psychological effects, like feelings of isolation and anxiety, which would hit people across the board, however. Most of the internet is designed for one purpose: to allow us to communicate with each other. We are used to being able to connect to anyone, anywhere, and at any time. An inability to do that would be unsettling.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for latest updates.